myself, I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year, so many men sold away. And I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and pain. Made damn sure that Pilate washed his hands and sealed his fate. Pleased to meet you, hope you guess my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. Good morning, aloha. This is Jason Schwartz from Maui. I am here in the studios of the Dreammakers Foundation, Mama and Papa, that's me, Maui Arts and Music Association, People Aligned in Positive Action. We are home recording, this is my home and office, and I have guests that have cordially come to my home through the medium of Zoom. And Zoom has an option where we can record it. And so for now, this format you see is the new world that we're going to live in. And so let me introduce you to a wonderful guest. Today I have Kurt Butler. Kurt Butler has been on our show before. How long has it been now, Kurt? Year and a half, maybe almost. A year?
6, 8 months. Been quite a while.
Time keeps running away. When last we were speaking, I think I introduced you as an activist and a self-generated activist, someone who's a concerned citizen who cares about himself and others and has been in dialogue both through the media and through the powers that be like the state and the feds and local whatever to get clarification on subject of labeling and the idea that many things out there are a sham. If someone wants to make a buck and they're putting things out there, am I in the right vicinity?
Yeah, I'm a consumer advocate, mostly in the health field. There are a lot of health and medical and nutrition scams out there. And at this time, with this COVID-19 crisis we have, these scammers are all the more active. And so I feel that this is a good to remind people that they cannot rely on the government to protect them, either the state government or federal government.
Well,
maybe I can start with a little.
Your sound is going in and out a little bit. I'm going to see if I can. It's just your sound. I don't know if it. Are you on Wi-Fi cable or what is your connection? Cable?
Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi.
So am I. Okay. Well, somewhere in our signal, we're not using telephone. Anyway, okay. So you're saying that trusting the state government and the federal government is like someone saying, oh, yes, we're here for your best interest, and later to discover that it was either self-interest or no interest and just wanted you to go away. And so you're really not doing the job of protecting the consumers because there's people are out there saying, look, we have these pills. We're passionate about them. This, that, and the other thing, do this, that, and the other thing for you. And we want your money. And even though we'll give you your money back, you won't want your money back. But then later you might discover they're there or they're not there. They'll give you your money back. No. They'll give you a new product. So, and there's all kinds of people that legitimately back up what they do, but you're aware a lot. I've seen you very visible, that you're aware that there are a lot of scammers out there and a lot of companies, even the vitamin companies and things. Some of them make direct claims. Some of those claims I know from my own research have what do we call it? Testing, and then some of those testings is, Mickey and Minnie and Goofy. We had these people, and this is what happened to them. Or some of them say, oh, no, we've documented it. And the difference in this is because now we have 20 people. 10 didn't get it, 10 did. In other words, you watching, I know I'm talking a lot. You need to jump in because I'll just keep talking. Tell me more what you're identifying.
Let me start with an anecdote that sparked my most recent interest. At certain crafts fairs and small stores, I would see these products in these little cans that look like chewing tobacco cans, and then there were little flyers that go with them. And the flyers say that these products are effective against a wide range of health issues. And I was most concerned when I saw the claim that these products were effective against bacterial and viral infections. And I noticed that these are locally made. They're apparently made in someone's kitchen or garage. There was no kind of the kind of labeling you see on most products, that if you go into a so-called health food store, it says on the label exactly what's in it, and that the FDA has not approved of this product, is not inspected, and so it says nothing like that. It just says that it's effective for these, and they're for internal use, or you can rub them on your skin. So I wrote a letter to the State Department of Health and a copy to the governor's office with a copy of this flyer. And I said, here is this product making these claims. Can the consumer rely on the accuracy of these claims? Are the manufacturing facilities inspected in any way? Is the sanitation guaranteed? There, all the usual things the consumer would want to know. If someone's making these, viral and bacterial infections can kill you. So if someone is just selling these things, and they're rather expensive actually, you'd want to know that there is some kind of government inspection. I mean, the government inspects the kitchens for these food trucks. The food trucks have to be inspected by the department. They have to get a pass. And so you'd think that for drugs, there would be at least that much of government keeping tabs on what's going on. So
I would think so.
I sent a letter to the governor's office and to the Department of Health, the same letter with the same flyer, and I asked them a bunch of questions about this kind of stuff, and they just ignore me. So a month later, I do it again, and they ignore me, and I do it again and again, and they just completely ignore me. And so it's a matter of, we don't have any consumer protection for these kinds of products.
Did you call them?
No, I did follow up with emails, but I get no reply to those either.
I
And
myself,
you know what
as a blind guy, I'm trying to think of if you were busy, you're the Department of Health, and you have 8 workers. I'm making it up, but this doesn't condone it. It basically says, aren't we understaffed? It seems to me that no response from a government agency on repeated attempts through conventional sources that they provide, email and phone. That's why I'm asking, because I have problems like this in different areas, trying to help people that are homeless or struggling, or the police did this or did that to them. Anyway, we live in quite a world here, and I can't get acknowledgement.
Well, let me tell you about a kind of a somewhat related experience showing that they have a really different standard when it comes to foods and drugs. I noticed that this one food truck had a little dog in it, and this dog would run around in the food truck. It would go outside, it would go back in, it would jump up on the table where food prep was going on. And when I reported that to the health department, they got right on it. And, within days, that problem was solved. You never saw that dog at food truck again. Well, why are drugs held to a different standard? You would think that drugs claiming to be life-saving cures for bacterial and viral infections would be even much more stringently controlled.
No question.
And why do they ignore me? And so I've thought about it. Why do they do this? Why don't they care? And sure, they may be busy. They may not have a lot of people in their office, but given that they've had months and months, you think at least they could call me or write me and say, we're looking into it. But no, they just completely ignore me. And I've had a similar problem with a so-called health food store. I call it a health fraud store, where these people claim that their vitamins and herbs can cure everything, anything that ails you. And they'll name the diseases. They'll say that we have products that will cure advanced stage 4 cancers. These people have no credentials in any health-related field.
May I ask for a second? Because I know them a long time. Dennis and Mona Jones, you're talking about alive and well, right?
Yeah.
So, they were students of whatever they were students of, but not nutritional medicine at a level that meets your scrutiny. So let's say I'm using them as a great example, because has anyone ever asked them that you can't make claims about things? What's happened?
Oh, I've challenged them for years.
But I mean, have any authorities, given them some reason?
I contact the authorities. I've contacted the head of the Maui Department of Health, Dr. Pang, and he's kind of a crackpot as far as doctors go. He believes in that chemtrails, this chemtrail conspiracy theory about, this is just jet exhaust is all it is, but he thinks that there's some nefarious entity out there that is spraying chemicals on us that
So no matter, again, when I look at that, whether or not there's some nefarious group or whether it's just the back of a a donkey up there or a train or a plane. Um, I'm most concerned about this is the health. So if the silver or whatever nitrate in the sky, and that's all here and there, that's all science, I hope, hopefully science based. Maybe he throws his weight around as the head of the Department of Health, and you could probably ask him to cite more specifically, but he must have some reason. But again, whether he does or he doesn't, still doesn't get down to what you said. To me, that's why I'm bringing it up, which is if the people at Alive and Well are claiming these things about vitamins, how are they supporting it? And that piece is a good piece, because that's the piece that can get you satisfaction, and maybe they can still sell the same stuff, but support it in a way that is
Well,
better.
look, they even claim that they can. They even claim that their products can cure AIDS.
The word cure
AIDS.
is a very, very funny one. Go ahead.
Well, they claim that they have products that will totally wipe the virus from your body. Now, that's been the holy grail of the medical profession in that area for decades, ever since the epidemic started. And there has never been, there may be one case of the millions of cases recorded where medications actually cleared the virus from a body. And now they're saying that their and herbs can do that. I mean, it is just so preposterous. And
but you're open to seeing results, right? I mean, I'm sure that you would.
Of course.
So that's why I'm saying
look,
it that way.
If they really have put together some vitamins and herbs that do that, they could win a Nobel Prize.
Well, that's why I'm asking it this way, because to me, sounds like as a citizen and as a concerned consumer, after a while, when you start talking about things that are, quote, they're controversial because they challenge things the way they go on, you can get a reputation. I know people say, Jason's angry. He's irrational. They don't hear the word irrational, but that's why I'm talking to you in the measured way that I am, Kurt, because I've always found you to be very clear about what you're asking for. And if I think that rays from the sky cure something, I may tell you what I allege, but I don't tell you it's fact. Your concern is that someone's telling you and not supporting it, and there's crackpots out there that are taking am I right? I hope that's what I'm saying. Yes, you are. To me, you're a very important piece. What?
They're vehemently anti-vaccine, which is a very dangerous thing to be these days. I mean, vaccines are one of the greatest public health triumphs in the history of humanity. We've wiped smallpox off the face of the earth. There are much lower incidence of a wide range of killer diseases. Some vaccines are actually anti-cancer vaccines. For example, the hepatitis B vaccine is an anti-liver cancer vaccine, because most people who get hepatitis B end up with liver cancer. So people who get the Hep B vaccine, they're preventing liver cancer.
So your point is
now when the anti-vaccine people managed to persuade the population in Samoa that the measles vaccine was terrible, well, we ended up with hundreds of cases of measles, and 200 children died. So this kind of misinformation is really killer misinformation. And by the way, let me show This is a little website blog, killerlies.blogspot.com. It has a lot more
Killer
detail
Lies? Killer Lies with an
lies.
S? So you forgot the S. You might want to fix it.
Killer Lies. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
So
we'll put that one at the bottom. See, now we have this new thing called
killerlies.blogspot.com.
Okay.
And that has a lot more detail than we can cover in this short interview.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for realizing the interview is short. We still have a bunch more time. I'm fooling in the same breath. The truth is, the reason that I speak to you so comfortably over these years is I've had a lot of people say to me, because you've been doing this for a while, that this guy's radical. Whenever I speak to you, I don't hear radical. I hear clear. And yeah, I know Dennis and Mona. I like Dennis and Mona as people. And when I ask them about things, I ask those harder questions of them, like, do you have any facts that show this? I don't have myself in a health thing. But people that are in a health thing need to get a source of information. And you'd hope that backstop was the Department of Health. So that's one area that you've shared with me. You have questions, big questions about the follow-through of the Department of Health on the most significant area going on, which to me is what you're taking in. Way different than other things that they check on. The dog and the food truck, that they got. But checking to see if this accusation or this claim that vitamin A, 10,000 milligrams a day, coupled with chlorophyll and 3 drops of this, will make your stomach better. And you'd like to see some more on that. Am I right, what you're saying?
Well, let me just tell you, one brief kind of that whole story. When I gave up on the Department of Health, I sent them one last letter. I said, since you apparently have no objection to this kind of product, people making drugs in their garages or their kitchens, I am going to cook up a batch of anti-COVID-19 cure, and I'm going to start marketing it in this state. And they had absolutely, again, no reply. They have no objection to people putting out fake cures.
So watch. Here you are. You create your own tins, and you say, COVID solutions, and you have them available with a flyer. If someone came to them with that, maybe they think it's more important because people are dying. They heard the word COVID in it. But if it was a flyer that had an angel on it and beautiful colors, and they talked about vitamin Z with to the 12th power, they wouldn't address it because it's over their head, not in their jurisdiction. I find that's the biggest thing going on, that the buck gets passed. In our current situation now, I don't want to say who's to blame. They're all to blame. But the biggest thing is people don't know and pass the ball, pass the buck. The Chinese did it. The French did it. That's because we didn't close this. Who cares? What are we going to do to solve the problem? And if you're going to sell me lotions and potions to solve this problem, you would like them to stand up and do their part of checking what is being sold on the market. Why didn't they? How long ago was this, Kurt?
Oh, my last letter to them was maybe 3 weeks ago, but it's gone. It's gone over 3 or 4 months where I've sent letters and they haven't replied. But I have a theory about why they won't do anything about these things. They are in on the scam. as long as people pay their taxes, it's like, the state gets its cut, and the taxes help pay for their salaries. So they're not going to do anything to hinder the income the state taxes. So it's sort of like a protection racket. As long as you pay your taxes, we're going to let you run this scam. I don't know how else to see it.
The way I see it is, I hear the echo there. That's the nature of man and woman. Sadly, it's the morality piece that we have a problem with, and it's so pervasive in our society and the way people are with each other, and it's the whole policy it's like a being who says, well, why should I take care of this? It's going to eliminate the need for my job. It's like when you go to the airline, and there's this thing that says, well, why don't you do your ticket at this machine? Hey, you guys are pushing us to use this machine that's eliminating your job. Now we don't need anyone to stand back there. Now you got to be home with your kids, but we're not going to pay you anymore because we have a computer that replaced you. So bye. We were able to lower our healthcare costs, and you had pre-existing conditions. Bye. But if you go to that store, they'll tell you, take this and take that. And they're trying to make money, and they think that their information is good enough for them. And I'm not saying that. I believe they actually believe what they say. I don't think that they're thinking, like I'm talking Dennis and Mona, by example, that they think that they're trying to hurt anyone. But they don't support it enough to be able to, like you say, to make you satisfied that they're supporting it with truth, and that these advertisements need to be clearer. I'm going to have another guest. Do you know Dr. Doug Price? Have you met him?
No.
I mentioned you to him yesterday, and I told him there's a gentleman that comes on. His name is Kurt Butler. You're a doctor. He deals with this guy, scalar, and I'm talking about studying modalities, different things. But even in that,
wait, what kind of doctor? A lot of people are calling themselves doctor, and they have.
This is a chiropractor. 40 years he's been a chiropractor. I know others that deal with different technologies like.
I don't think chiropractors should legally be able to call themselves doctors. All they do is crack backs. Look, I crack knuckles. Is this going to improve my health? Cracking my knuckles? There are all these ads and tweets online now where these chiropractors are saying, never mind the social distancing necessities, come into our office and get these spinal manipulations to boost your immune system. That is a total, there's not a word of truth to it.
Well, again, first of all, you and I would agree that one chiropractor doing that, number one, it isn't all of them. And many would say to that guy or gal, what are you doing? Why are you getting close to people? Create the distance here. What's with you? We're going to give you a $5,000 ticket a day. I'm making up, but you're saying that there are claims that back manipulation is going to improve your immune system enough for you to feel stronger than God when you're out there.
And prevent COVID-19. That is the implication. That's why there's.
I have never seen that. That is horrible if that's happening.
Oh, go on Twitter. There's a lot of them.
Wow. Social media.
If you want my, if you have a Twitter account, this is my handle, @Maui Liberty. If you have a Twitter account and you want to see what I'm saying on Twitter, I have thousands of tweets and replies to other people's.
All right, you can put it down because I'm going to be putting it, remember our screen we're looking at? Right under you, it's going to say Kurt Butler, and you'll tell me your email address if you want it. And then at Maui Liberty and that other killer lies. Blah. The only way we can get this information out is what we're doing. Some people might say, well, this guy, he was accusing all chiropractors of being hoaxsters. No, that's why I'm measuring what you're saying, because I don't want people to think that. I don't think it's fair to them or you, especially when I've seen that you are only asking for things that you believe truly will be protecting. You respond and you punch a lot. Well, when people are pummeling you on social media, I can't help but think you got to get a little crusty on this. And before there was social media, when you had the one-on-one confrontations, confrontation about important issues are confrontational. What a surprise.
Well, I have hundreds of followers on Twitter. I have a lot of friends, a lot of people who agree with me. So.
I understand. That's why I'm bringing it up in such a, hopefully, a good way, because I like you and I appreciate what you're doing. I can have friends that are Dennis and Mona Jones I see once in a while, or when I go in to buy something there. I have no problem. But when I see claims going on, I myself know that I've been involved in marketing things, and when people put out things that aren't true, it upsets me. And it upsets me in my life and career where I've left more than 10 companies because they're a sham. They put out a lot of bull, and they think that there's no problem with that, when in fact, there is a problem with that. Again, I don't want to get too personal, but when I was doing the sale of real estate education and told people, this information doesn't walk on its own. You have to do something with information. You're not buying a program. Some people were selling a program and acting as if they were realtors and knew what they were doing. That was a problem. And then the realtors who wanted to be involved, who didn't know squat about real estate. That whole thing. Or Donald Trump putting his name out there before he was Donald Trump, the president, and he was the You're Fired Queen, whatever his show was. I'm just bringing it up. That's the world we live in, Kurt. And I only hope that...
Let me make a quick comment about chiropractors so people don't get the wrong idea.
Sure.
I think all the chiropractic claims that their spinal manipulations can help with any kind of systemic disease, any kind of disease of any organ, these claims are totally 100% false. However, I'm not saying that chiropractors never do anybody any good, but the good that they do is mostly in the area of relieving pain, and the good that they do is really not very different from the good that physical therapists do. And if I had my way, all the chiropractic colleges would be closed down, and chiropractors would be retrained to be physical therapists.
Sometimes, in my understanding and experience over the years of knowing, I've known chiropractors for years, I don't have much physical pain, and I haven't gone to chiropractors for a relief of pain. But I have a friend, for example, who, after working for so many years in manipulation of bodies for physical pain thing, there's this device that would get into certain key points that would allow, again, it can be tested and shown, maybe you have or haven't seen, allow the energy to flow. It can all be measured. I only bring it up
nonsense.
Because,
come on.
Again,
you see that
when you say nonsense, what's nonsense?
Chiropractors are forgetting about the autonomic nervous system. This is a string of nerves that run alongside the spine that are way too deep that chiropractors pay no attention to. These are the nerves that actually influence, modulate the functioning of the organs. The spinal nerves only modulate the function of the muscular skeletal system. They have nothing to do with internal organs.
You and I, right now, and like on the bottles, we're what's called fake news to me, which means you can tell me that, and if someone's listening said, hey, that sounded really convincing. You and I are like Dennis and Mona, but in a different direction. So I say,
basic anatomy. Anybody can pick up
no,
an
but I'm
anatomy
saying,
book.
like, for example, when I have physical pain, do you believe, and again, believe not from hocus pocus, do you believe that there are other kinds of energetic bodies there? Or a brain which is controlled by a psyche and emotion? Do you have any feeling for that?
Well, that's a little vague. I don't really know what it means.
Well, what I mean is, for example, I listened to a lecture by a lady named Carolyn Markelin, who is a PhD in Germany, who's been studying and working with a doctor in Norway for many years named Dr. Hamer, who died in 2007. There's this thing called New German Medicine or German New Medicine that proposes that, and again, they have studies. That's why I say I think that's the part that's interesting to me, that share that they can track major illnesses and activity as it related to a psychic, what do we call it, death conflict trauma that affects and is controlled by a certain area of the brain, and that brain connects through the automatic nervous system to the physical body, so that relief of that trauma can create healing. Now, those are the kind of things that add, what do I want to say, in testing. I don't know what controls are, but those are the kind of claims, maybe a little different because you're talking about a pill and a potion. But those kind of claims, this guy who's a chiropractor has studied. That's why I'm talking about energetic and other systems, or the Chinese medicine, where when you talk to a doctor in China and he tells you about acupuncture points that they treat with conventional Western things in different ways than you and I maybe have experienced. Maybe you have, but I'm watching and learning that there's so much that we don't know. So I'm open to it. But I like to really see it in a more concrete way.
Well, let me tell you something about acupuncture. In all of the centuries that it has supposedly existed, or that it has been practiced in China, there has never been, no one has ever found an acupuncture point. It has never been proved that an acupuncture point or an acupuncture meridian exists. We have instruments now, we have electron microscopes that can photograph individual molecules and even atoms. And yet no one has ever photographed an acupuncture point or an acupuncture meridian. No one has ever measured or proved that this so-called chi or ki exists.
I find that hard to believe. I can bring it up specifically.
Well, acupuncturists themselves disagree about how many acupuncture points there are and where they are exactly.
Well,
now, if you can find, look, when in anatomy, in real anatomy, and by the way, the Chinese are very good at real science, and most of them do not accept ancient myth of these acupuncture points. Most of them totally ignore it. This is ancient mythology.
I'm gonna stop because I want to continue on. Let me quickly take a break.
Okay.
We have to take a break because we're running on. I need to leave a little bit of room. We'll be right back in a second. Well, we're talking about with Kurt Butler. Kurt Butler is a consumer advocate here on Maui. We're talking about, among other things, we were talking about whether acupuncture points exist and whatever. But we'll be right back after we visit with our sponsors. The Neutral Zone, with me, Jason Schwartz, would like to thank Maui Arts and Music Association, Dreammakers Foundation of Maui, for their support. Since 1991, with hundreds of television shows and their MauiArtsandMusic.com website, they have championed self-sustainability on Maui. The Neutral Zone is heard live Mondays at 11 a.m. and replayed Saturday at 7 a.m. on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui. The Neutral Zone with me, Jason Schwartz, would like to sincerely thank David Bryan for his support. David was founder and head of school at New Road School in Santa Monica, California, and is the board chair at the Ojai Foundation and on the board for Brave New Films. The Neutral Zone is heard live Mondays at 11 a.m. here on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui, and again on Saturdays at 7 a.m., as well as on TV and on MauiNeutralZone.com.
Do you have a non-profit event coming up that you would like the public to know about? Is there an important social issue for which you'd like to raise awareness? Akaku can help you get the word out. You can come in and record a 1-minute public service announcement for the subject of your choice at no cost to you. Slots are available Mondays and Wednesdays between 1 and 3. Remember, it's free, so call 871-5554 and reserve your spot today.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad!
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Aloha. I'm Amora St. John, inviting you to join me every Friday at 11 a.m. when I'll be talking story to some very gutsy women. Women going for their dreams, women who have children and grandchildren, and the wisdom of the ages. Women who are courageous and filled with spirit. That's Gutsy Women Radio, Fridays at 11 a.m. and replays on Saturdays at 2 p.m. here on KAKU Radio, 88.5 FM.
Hi. Kurt hit a button and somehow the whole thing stopped, so I just want to make an ending. I want to thank Kurt Butler for joining us today on the show. You know, we have a lot of people on the show, and we like to bring all kinds of viewpoints and all kinds of people. Take a look at some of his websites and his ideas and his theories and who he is and his books. And we hope that you'll check in on all that we do here. We have a lot of interesting guests, a lot of interesting subjects that may very well relate to your life. I hope you stay safe. I'm Jason Schwartz at the Maui Neutral Zone. Aloha, and we'll see you next time.